Well, hey everybody, it's 3 p.m. and it's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. And whoa, all of a sudden out of nowhere there was a huge downpour, and I really have to say that maybe that is the only drawback to having your own garden is when you are waiting up until a little few minutes before showtime to go out and cut parsley out of your garden so that it's fresh to sprinkle on the recipe that you're making. Hey, Roseanne. Then there's a downpour and you can't get out the door to cut the parsley. And then if you're waiting and then it's showtime. So we will have no parsley on today's show, but I will tell you where it goes and when it goes. So welcome everybody. Nancy Holland, Roseanne is here. Nanny Bubby is here. Arlene Blute is here. Arlene, I am going to make stuffed cabbage. Next week. I'm figuring out that recipe and I'm definitely going to be doing that. So stand by. I'll post about that. Hey, Cynthia, how are you? So I'm getting ready to make Moroccan chicken, and we'll give everybody just an extra few minutes to join us here. But one of the things that I just wanted to tell you about is that this Friday, we're going to be doing Cocktail Friday. I'll come up with a great recipe. Bring your husbands because I'm bringing mine, and we're going to all do a cocktail. I can't tell you what it is right now, but I will figure it out. And I'm going to give away one of these books from Melissa's Produce. Melissa's Produce provides a lot of my produce for the TV show when I do Channel 8. And this is called the Melissa's Great Book of Produce. Hey, Joey Gallo, nice to have you here again. So happy you are, and you were here yesterday. The Great Pepper Cookbook. We're giving away every Friday these 3 books, and also Everyday Cooking with Organic Produce. So, hey, Susan Thomas. So these are great books. So tune in on Friday. Bring your husband. Get ready to make a cocktail. I'll post what the cocktail is before Friday so that we can all be prepared. My husband's going to be doing the tasting. I can't because I am babysitting my grandchildren. So there's going to be no tasting on my end. But I am going to draw a name from all of you who have tuned in these last 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I'll pick a name out of the hat and we will give away one of these books on Friday. Also, I want to tell you this big news. I won't be here tomorrow. Why? Well, my daughter has gotten a very big busy opportunity and I need to be Nanny Bubby, the real Nanny Bubby tomorrow. So I'm going to be in carpool line at 3 o'clock tomorrow. And so there's no way that I can be here. I might just come on live while I'm in the car and tell you what I'm making for dinner for the grandkids. That would be change, but it's going to be from my car. So I will miss you, but you can all join in tomorrow if you'd like for just maybe 3 minutes as I start driving to pick up my little granddaughter. So that's going to be very exciting. So the first thing I want to tell you about today's recipe, this Moroccan chicken, is that some of the ingredients that I'm sharing with you actually come from the Temecula Olive Oil Company, but you do not necessarily need to purchase those ingredients from them. You can make them on your own. So never fear. But I'm going to give you some hacks as to how to do that if you would like. So I just want to grab one recipe. Hold on just a minute. So this recipe for Moroccan chicken is actually on the nannybubby.com website under main courses, under cooking tab, and then main courses. And the Moroccan spice rub, which I adore more than life itself, can I tell you, you can add white pepper, ginger, allspice, mace, nutmeg, rose beds, and cinnamon to make your own spice rub if that's what you would like. You can also buy jarred, hey Heather, hey Lisa, you can also buy jarred preserved lemons at the Temecula Olive Oil Company. But if you cannot or don't want to buy them from them online because they are only in the California area, we made our own preserved lemons, and there's a quick hack recipe to do that. So let me just, hey mom, and Debbie Lapping is here. Hey Debbie, nice to see you. It's been so long. So these are the preserved lemons, and all this is lemon juice, which I squeezed out of the lemons that I threw into the pot, a cup of water, and about, hey there, Lene, you haven't been here in so long. It's so good to see you back. I know you've been busy, but so good to see you here. And so add lemon juice, about 2 tablespoons of salt, and a cup of water. And what I did is I brought this to a boil and I let it simmer. Hey, Susan Foreman, I just now saw you. And you have to say hello when you sign on, because sometimes it tells me you're here and sometimes it doesn't. So back to the preserved lemons. I lose my train of thought. I'm trying to answer everybody's questions and give a recipe all at the same time. I simmered this for about an hour before you all arrived, and I'm taking it off the fire now. Hopefully it will cool, and then we're going to take the meat out of the lemon and just use the lemon rind in this recipe. So that having been said, I'm going to set it aside, and I'm going to take the top off so that it can cool down. We'll put that in towards the end. And I'm going to bring my Le Creuset cast iron pan here. I hope I said that correctly. Everybody says it differently, but my French speaking best friend is watching, so if I said it wrong, she'll let me know. Always, everything, especially when it comes to meat, starts with a tablespoon of olive oil and a tablespoon of butter for flavor. If you keep kosher, you can leave the butter out. I'm reminded to say that by my rabbi all the time because sometimes I leave that little message out. That not quite kosher if you throw the butter in and you're combining it with meat. So, oh, wrong. I said Le Creuset wrong. Okay, you'll have to give me a lesson on that. Le Creuset, is that right, Lisa? Okay, so we're going to heat up the oil. We're going to heat up the butter. And while we're doing that, I'm going to move you over and I'm going to just show you the very, very simple way that we are going to season this chicken. So, let's see, let me turn. Sometimes I struggle with the camera and the angles. You know, I say it all the time, when you're a cameraman and the talent and the cook, it gets a little confusing. So this is kosher salt. Always use the kosher salt, just so that you remember it's not near as salty as regular table salt. You don't need the iodized salt. It's actually not very healthy for you. So stay away from table salt. Sea salt is best at the table, or kosher salt if you are getting ready to cook. It's really a great flavoring. It brings out the flavors in the meat that you're cooking. Now, this is the Moroccan spice from the Temecula Olive Oil Company, and I really wanted a spoon to be able to do this. I guess I will take it right out of the salt. We're not going to be using the salt again. And again, you have more control. When you hold your spoon, the farther above, the more control you have. And so that's what I'm going to do. Just sprinkle this right on. Now, all of this, if you prep, really does not take that long to make. But there is about a 20 to 30 minute prep on most of this. Now, since I am not going to be here cooking dinner for my husband and my son tomorrow night, or the night after actually, I am actually doubling this recipe so they have lots of leftovers. I also made bone broth, so they will be able to hack into the bone broth as well while I'm gone, just some of the little tricks and trades. Mostly they're probably going to be calling Uber Eats in my absence. Tom said, I'll go to the grocery tomorrow, and I thought, no, I don't think you will be. So anyway, okay, so that's it. Now with the rub, I am going to touch this, and I am going to rub this in because that's what it's called. It's called a rub for a reason. So you want to rub it and evenly get it all over the skin. Now the great news about this is bone in, skin on, thighs and breasts. Now the recipe originally called for, just a little more on this one, for a whole cut up chicken, and you could certainly do that, but my family won't eat the wings, they won't eat the drumsticks, you know, everybody's so picky. So you've got to adjust these recipes always for what your children and your husband and family like. So let me wash my hands very quickly here because I just touched raw chicken, and hands are a chef's or a cook's best tool, but not so much if you have put raw poultry on them. So always wash your hands when you're touching raw poultry. So now this oil and butter has started to just brown just a little bit. And we are going to put these in for about 7 minutes. And we're not going to move them. So let me just turn you with me. There we go. Skin side down. I think I'm going to put in, let's see how many thighs I can get in here. I think I could probably put in 3 thighs and 1 chicken breast. And there we go. And let me set the timer. There we go. I love my kitchen timer. I love that it sounds like school's out when the bell rings. I love that so much. And we are not going to disturb this for about 7 minutes. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to let it sit here, and we're going to let it just brown. I'm going to turn it. It's on a medium heat. But while it is there, we are going to take the salt, and we are going to season the back side of these, which I don't like to season the back side of things and then turn them over. I like to wait until they're actually into the into the pan with this side facing outward, because that way when you turn it over, it doesn't take off the seasoning, right? If I had seasoned the back side of these and they were sitting in that pan, it would have rubbed off the seasoning. So that is I do the same thing with steaks. I season one side and then I wait until it is, I don't want to stick that hand back in there since I touched the chicken. So there we go. All right, washing the hands one more time. You'll excuse me for stepping out. There we go. All right. Okay. So while this is cooking for the 7 minutes, let's talk about the other things that we're going to do. Goodness gracious, my AirPods just went out. So I'm going to take these off and just wing it here. I apologize. Not sure what happened. Excuse me. I am not sure how that happened or why that happened. It just went out. So I've never had my AirPods go out before, and they were being charged before I got here. Okay, so thank you for that slight pause. I very much appreciate it. So as this is cooking, I'm going to actually turn this heat down just slightly. Let me show you what else goes into this. So this is 1.5 cups of chopped Kalamata olives. We've got 1 cup of sun-dried tomatoes, and they've been drained and rinsed. These are the tomatoes in oil, so you definitely want to do them in oil. This is 3. I'm using 3 just because there's a few more pieces of chicken than the recipe calls for. You can find this recipe on nannybubby.com. Cooking main courses. So these are the shallots that are going to go in. And by the way, since I have the sun-dried tomatoes, I also have these regular tomatoes that really have been on the counter for a day or two, and I think that they would look beautiful if we just slice them with our handy tomato slicer and put them in. So that's what we're going to do when the time is right. Recipe doesn't call for it, but it does call for 1.5 cups of white wine. I have this rosé wine left over from just a day or two ago, and it's so light. I don't want to just open another bottle of white wine. I would never use red wine in this recipe because that would change the whole context of the taste and the flavor. It would be too rich. But a little bit of rosé, I think it'll be just fine. And of course, some chicken stock is going to go into the pan. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And last but not least, we have these preserved lemons. So let's take these and let's move a few things out of the way. Let's see, where am I going with everything here? And let's see if we can't get these out and drain them. So I'm using this spider, which I love as a kitchen tool. There we go. And I'm just going to put these in here. They just take a few more minutes to cool. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut the pulp that's left out of the skin of these lemons. And we are only going to use the rind of the lemon in this recipe. So basically what I did is I took the lemons and I squeezed a half a cup of juice right out of them, right into the cup of water, 2 tablespoons of salt, and since I'm not using the pulp and I already squeezed the juice into the pan, then it's very easy to scrape out the pulp and to cut these in half. So I am, I might use a grapefruit spoon for that. So you'll excuse me, I'll grab the grapefruit spoon. See if we can make that happen. There we go. Okay, here's the grapefruit spoon. Remember, grapefruit spoon is long and comes to a point and has a serrated edge. I'm wondering if I can hold that up so that you can see that serrated edge. So for scraping seeds out of cucumbers, even for scraping seeds out of tomatoes, it's great. And now for scraping pulp right out of your preserved lemons, it might be awesome. So, okay, let me tilt you down. Let's see what happens here. We're going to turn this like this. Oh. Well, the skin is very soft. You've got to be very careful. I'll just put the pulp right back in there. Yeah, this really, look at that. It just shaves the pulp right out. Isn't that beautiful? Same thing. See, just scrape this. Oh, it's just coming out just beautifully. All out. Oh. And it really, it's funny, but preserved lemons, you can buy them. I believe you could get them in Williams-Sonoma. You can certainly buy them at the Temecula Olive Oil Company if you'd like. Or you can just take the quick recipe that I just gave you and make them your own. Okay, I'll do one more. There we go. Well, let me check on this timer. Oh, it's about to ring, so stand by for a ring. Any minute now. It'll sound like school's out. Remind you of a school bell when you were in grade school. Okay, so we want these to be nicely done. Can you see? Let me do that. Okay, so we're going to cut these just in tiny little lemon strips, like this. There we go. They're very easy to cut through. They add a lot of flavor, but it's a very different flavor. Hey, Terry Everhart. So nice to have you joining us. So very exciting when all of you join in, and we get new people that join in and say hello. But when it's time, there's that bell. Okay. Without delay, we'll finish cutting these in just a minute. Let's turn that chicken right over. Grab this right here. Okay. All right. So it'll stop in a minute. Look at how really nice and brown that is. There we go. So we're going to set this again just for another 5 minutes on this side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put these in the oven to bake. Look at that. So again, another 5 minutes. Works great. And we will finish cutting our preserved lemons. And there we go. All right. Thank you so much, Terry. My nose is itching. I have no idea why. So there we go. All right. So just while we're waiting just a few minutes. Now I've got 6 other pieces of chicken that I'm going to be cooking. I've got a big pan that I'm going to be cooking it in. Let me show you that. Right here. And I will finish cooking it after we leave. Otherwise you're going to be sitting here all day with me. But I'm going to go through the entire process with you up until the point that I'm going to do the other pieces. And I think they'll be just fine that the other part was done. So I wanted to remind you that they're out of season at the Temecula Olive Oil Company. The preserved lemons, Lisa, are out of season right now. They don't have them. Is that what you're saying? Okay. I've never had that. Oh, Teresa is here. Hey, Teresa. Was talking about you today, so nice to have you here. Lisa's going to chime in really quick. So the preserved lemons are out of season according to Lisa, so she must be Googling right while we're doing. Okay, all right, so there you go. So now you know how to make them on your own, which is a cup of water, 2 tablespoons of salt, and a half a cup of the lemon juice. It's okay to use the lemon juice that you have right from the lemon that you're going to be preserving because you don't want the pulp anyway, so you're not losing anything. So we're there. So I want to remind you, while this is just cooking on the other side, not being touched because it can't brown if you keep moving it, that on Thursday we have with us Ariane Resnick. Ariane Resnick is a very accomplished cookbook author. She wrote a book called The Bone Broth Miracle. She wrote The Drinking Girl's Guide to Drinking Healthy, and that's not exactly the title of it. She also has just been commissioned by Disney to write the very first Princess's Cookbook for children. Can you imagine? And on top of that, she has been the chef for Pink, the rock star Pink, who wrote the foreword to her book, The Drinking Girl's Guide, and also Gwyneth Paltrow and several others. So she's quite accomplished, and she is all about healthy and curing disease through food and changing your life by the foods you eat. And I love her message. I love what she's all about. She's hip, she's cool, and I know she's going to be a lot of fun, and she's got lots of information to share with us. So join us on Thursday, 3 p.m. for this interview with Ariane Resnick. On top of that, she's going to be giving away a signed copy of her book. So yeah, isn't it just an amazing interview? So yes, and her bio goes on and on and on. I got, I'm sure, a few pieces of it wrong because I'm going by memory, so hopefully she'll forgive me for that. But I've listened to her speak before, and she's really an icon in the wellness world, truly an icon. Her picture is on the Facebook page and on the Instagram page, so you can take a good look at her. She's got fabulous blue hair, and she's had pink hair, and she's just cool, right? Like, everybody wants somebody in their life that is as cool as this, and I'm so fortunate that I have been able to strike up a friendship with her, and she agreed to be on our show, which is just amazing. So run over to her Instagram page, Ariane_Resnick on Instagram. Look her up. Leave a comment. Tell her that you're looking forward to seeing her on Nanny Bubby's interview on Thursday. That will make her very happy. We'll get up the energy, and everybody will join us, so that's going to be absolutely fantastic. So, all right, we are returning now. And don't forget, Cocktails Friday, and don't forget we're giving away these 3 books once every Friday from Melissa's Produce. So we got a whole heck of a lot happening coming on, and actually, I'm killing time because I've got to wait for that buzzer to go off. And actually, next Thursday, my business mastermind group, the 6 of us, we call ourselves the Savvy 6, are going to be joining us, all 6 of us, on a Zoom call, so that I can introduce to you these fabulous women who I've actually never met in person. I've only met Colette. There's the bell. And we are going to talk about the support that we have given each other for our businesses during this time of COVID and everything else. So they are such accomplished women. They're artists, they're wellness coaches, they're the Jewish Latin Money Matters coach, a terrific screenwriter, and an amazing baker from Chicago who sent me a fabulous carrot cake for my birthday. So you're going to get to meet everyone who I spend 2 hours every Sunday with, and occasionally we'll call each other individually and, cry and say, oh my God, I don't know what to do. What would you do in this situation? They've just been amazing, and I think that their stories will inspire you. And our stories as a business mastermind will also inspire you if you are looking to get yourself surrounded by a group of like-hearted women who want to support other people and other women, other men. And we've had some men in other groups from this class, and it's really fantastic. So I think you're going to enjoy meeting them. So, okay, on to, this is a very heavy La Crusade. They're all very heavy. Okay, so we are going to take the chicken right out of the pan and into this pot. You see that? There we go. And yes, by all means, go over to Ariane's Instagram page and let her know that you heard about the interview and you're looking forward to meeting her. I know that that would mean a great deal to her. So, as you know, I believe full-heartedly in always reading a recipe, even when it's the recipe you created, which I did create this recipe, or a version of it anyway. And a lot of times when you're doing something by heart, hey, Jennifer Tuttle, thanks for being here. you can forget something. So we are done. We removed them to a plate, and now we're going to make the sauce in the very same pan. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the shallots, and we're going to throw the shallots into the sauce, into the pan to make the sauce. And of course, the one thing that this asks you to do is to sweat the shallots. So we do that by putting them into the existing sauce, and we are going to put some kosher salt on it because salt will sweat just about anything. And when we say sweat, what we mean is we're not wanting these to brown, although they will brown because they're in a pan with the drippings in it, but we mostly want these to sweat and get translucent. So there's that. We'll let that begin. Let me see if you can see it. Yes, you do have to set your alarm. That would be great. Set your alarm. I set my alarm. I make sure I'm here, so you have to set your alarm. Okay, so there we go. Oh, you should smell how delicious now that the shallots have gone in. After we put in the shallots, we're going to add the lemon rind. So here we go with the preserved lemon rind. Look at that. Doesn't that look beautiful? Just put them right in and toss it. Now, if I had a cameraman and we were editing this, I wouldn't have to hold this recipe. I could cheat along and you would think I just know this recipe so well. And I do, but I don't want to take a chance of when telling you about the recipe that I leave anything out, because I have done that on live television. I've actually literally gone right over one of the main ingredients and forgot it. Okay, in with the olives, chopped Kalamata olives. You could use a combination of marinated olives if you can find them. Sometimes I go and I find pitted combinations of heirloom marinated olives, and green and black. So whatever you find, it will work in this recipe. Toss it around, and now we are going to put in the sun-dried tomatoes. So these are sun-dried tomatoes in olive oil, and I did rinse them and I did chop them. So there we go. Okay. So now the flavors are all starting to meld together. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Just look at that. Okay. So now we are going to deglaze this pan. And actually, what I'm going to do is I am going to put in, as I said, I'm going to put in these tomatoes. These are fresh tomatoes. I don't think I'm going to want to use them after today. Today they still look pretty good. So let's just add some fresh tomatoes to this recipe, because why not, right? We know that the tomato flavors are going to work because it does call for sun-dried. There we go. Okay. Into the pan. Remember when we gave away this handy Dan? We gave away to 4 people. I think Cynthia won one, Roseanne won one, I think Lene. Didn't you win one, Lene? And there was a 4th person who I cannot think of right now. But everybody came to that interview with Nancy Holla, and we gave away the tomato slicers, and that was absolutely fun. All right. Okay. Okay. Into the pot. We'll give it a swirl, and then we're going to move on to the next spot. So you can hear it sizzling. Can you guys hear that sizzling? Yes. Strain them and rinse them, Lisa, and then you can chop them. They're very hard to chop, and also when chopping something, they're heavily coated in the oil. That oil is there just to preserve them, but once you are ready to use them, you can't chop those oil-bound, sun-dried tomatoes on a cutting board. You get that oil all over everything, and oil does seep into your cutting board. So, Arlene. Arlene was the other one that won her tomato slicer. That's right. There you go. And we're going to be making stuffed cabbage rolls for Arlene. She requested that. And in fact, if there's any recipe that anybody on this call right now or anybody on Facebook Live would like for me to make, I am happy to do it. Just put it in the chat. So, okay, so that's why you rinse the sun-dried tomatoes. Now we're going to deglaze the pan. with 1.5 cups of white wine, in this case rosé wine, because that's what I had left. I would not use red wine. I just think it would make this dish way too heavy. Okay, here we go. Let's turn it up. And we're going to bring this to a simmer. Okay, and we're also going to add 1.5 cups of the chicken stock. Now, we're going to cover the pan for about 25 minutes and simmer it. In this case, because I'm making so much and I actually don't have quite a large enough pot to put all of this chicken in. I would if I was just using these 4 pieces, but as you know, I am making, well, what is it? It's 3, 6, 4, 10 pieces of chicken for tonight, leftovers for when I'm not here. And when I'm being real Nanny Bubby, not just Nanny Bubby who's cooking for you, but real Nanny Bubby, carpool, dinner, bedtime, oh my God. Okay, I'm so looking forward to it, right? I you know, it was like Harmony was going to ask me, and she was kind of hesitant, and I said, oh my God, Harmony, I have waited all my life to hear you say those words. So I am more than excited to be helping. I'm really, really excited. So, okay. So I am going to put everything into this pot and then bake it in the oven at about 350 for 25 minutes. And so that will do the same job as cooking it covered here in this pot and in the juices. So now that this is starting to come to a simmer, we're going to kill the simmer by adding 1.5 cups of chicken stock. So, oh, Lynn Kugel is here. Hey, Lynn, or Linnae. I think it's Lynn. Lynn with an E. Lynn Kugel. Always shake your chicken stock because it does settle. Everyone believes in making your own, and I do too, but I treasure my chicken stock. We use it for so many things, for feeling better, and it's just a family favorite, and I don't want to waste it in a sauce. So I actually find the best chicken stock on the market, which this actually is, this Pacific, and I use it. So that's my answer to that. Okay, so into the pot, just gradually. I'm going to temper it, just so this stays simmering. Look at that. I mean, these colors on Facebook look just gorgeous, don't they? Oh, okay. There we go. Look at that. So beautiful. Okay, Biggie is coming downstairs and barking. Who knows? Amazon is here. The bug man is here. I don't know why he's barking, but he is. Raise your hand if you can hear him. There we go. So if anybody in my house upstairs is watching, you need to come let Biggie out, maybe. Okay, let's see. All right, there we go. Now the last thing we're going to do is, I was just explaining when everybody came on earlier today, is one of the only downsides of having your own vegetable garden in your backyard is that if you think what you want to do is right before showtime, is go out and cut your parsley fresh just like 10 minutes before showtime, and then really show you how wonderful that is. Hey there, Sharon McCareth. Thank you so much for being here. You're new to us, so I'm so happy to see you. And you go outside about 10 minutes before showtime, which was exactly how you planned it, and you open that door and get ready to walk out, and you realize there's a downpour, and you cannot get from the kitchen to the garden. So now the ring is going off, so apparently somebody is here. I have no idea who. But anyway, so I could not get the fresh parsley. So we are going to end this. Hey, Pat DeWitt, so nice you're here. So happy you're joining us. We're having a great time. We're making Moroccan chicken. But we don't have the parsley to end the meal with because of the downpour. And now I'm looking outside and it's bright and sunny, so I don't know. Sometimes in the desert, you just never know what to expect, do you? So here we go. We are bringing this to a boil, and the only other thing that I want to add is, I'm looking for where I put it, is the dried oregano. And I do not see it here, even though I know I brought it out. Let me just look one more time. Maybe I put it back on. Oh, here it is. So this dried oregano came from Full House Fallbrook, from Cynthia's farm. She gave it to me. Oh boy. I also have oregano in my garden. But the really wonderful thing is that you don't crumble dried oregano until it's time to use it. So you just simply slide the dried leaves off the stem, and then you reach in and take about a tablespoon of the dried oregano, and you want to activate it. And the way that you activate it is just put it between your fingers and start rubbing it. And that brings out the oils. Now, dried oregano is actually richer and more flavorful than fresh oregano. So if you really want, and this happens to be Greek oregano, I believe, so it's perfect for, and you can smell it. I mean, oh, it's just beautiful. So let's just do about a tablespoon and a half, and let's just run it between our fingers and just let it just fall right in. And there you have it. So I'm going to take this, and we're going to let this cook down just for a few minutes so it is a nice, beautiful, hey, Pat DeWitt again. This is a nice, rich sauce. You've got the lemons in here, which look just so beautiful. You've got the fresh tomatoes, if you can see that. Can you see that? Just can't really see it. Let's see. There we go. The fresh tomatoes. We've got the olives that are in here. Again, you could use green or black or a combination thereof. Have we looked at the dried tomatoes? These dried tomatoes. And this rich sauce is just going to get poured right over the top of this. We will either put it back on the stove for about 25 minutes in its sauce. So to do that, what you would do is just literally put that chicken right in there like that, and just let it cook away with the top on for about 25 minutes. Let all the juices get in. In this case, I'm actually not going to do that because I have 6 more pieces of chicken to go through. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sauce and I'm going to put it on the side and ladle it right into a bowl, or actually maybe even into this pot. Let me get rid of these juices here. There we go. Okay, let me get a ladle, and I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do here, because sometimes this is what you need to do. Now, normally I would have sauteed all this meat before I did everything, but that would have had us here until 4:30. In French, nouns have genders. Le is masculine, la is feminine. It's le cruce. Cruce means melting pot. So le is masculine, so it's a masculine melting pot, even though most laws are using it. At least in this kitchen, right? Thank you for that, Roseanne. Lisa, do you want to chime in? Because I think Roseanne may know as much French as you do. Okay, let me grab a ladle. Okay, so we will ladle this right out into this other pot, and then I will begin the cooking process. So as I told you, I'm considering doing a VIP day because I've had so many questions about how someone could actually work with me. And I've just never had the answer. I've never known what to do. I know so many would love the opportunity to be able to work together. And so if you have any interest at all and you think it's a good idea and you'd like to do a VIP day, it would be a one-on-one. It would be you and me, and we could design it for, maybe you'd like to cook a dinner for your family. Maybe you've been a working mom all your life. Hey there, Chrissy Carol Hall. Thanks for joining us. Maybe you've been a working mom all your life and cooking wasn't your thing, but you're looking back in the moment and you're thinking, you know, I would really like the opportunity. I was so busy working, so busy with my career. Now I'm a grandmother. Now I have adult children. Maybe all of that or none of that is true, but just an example. And you'd like the opportunity to finally learn how to cook better and to learn to make moments, beautiful moments in your kitchen. You know, as I said before, in our generation, we were told to burn our bras and burn our aprons, and that it was a demeaning thing to be in the kitchen. Well, at the same time, the greatest memories most of us have is when we went into the kitchen to watch our mothers, our grandmothers, or even our fathers and grandfathers from the old country cook. So if that is the case, if you want to now step into being that matriarch of your family, it's never too late. If not now, when? If you didn't have time to do it the entire time that you had a career, no big deal. But if you desire that right now, I'd love to be there to coach you and to give you the confidence to do it. So if this resonates with you, then by all means just drop a 1 in the chat so I know who is interested or who thinks it's a good idea, because if you think it's a good idea, then that will encourage me, because I'm just not sure what to do. I'm not sure how to answer the call. So that would be great. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest of this right into the pot. There we go. And we are going to start again with the chicken. So that's it. Okay, you've got a lot of homework right now, right? I have given you all so much homework. First of all, run over to Ariane Resnick's page on Instagram and leave her a little note on her Instagram and tell her you're looking forward to seeing her here on Nanny Bubby, on the Nanny Bubby Facebook page, Thursday interview. That would be great. Oh, look, everybody's writing 1. You think it's a good idea. That's great. Number 2, be here on Friday. We're going to be giving away those books. One of the books that Melissa's Produce gives, which is fantastic. It's got such great information on it. And bring your husband or your boyfriend or whomever to Cocktail Friday. I'm bringing my husband. So that's going to be fun. And let's see, what else have we got going? Be here on Thursday for the interview. Don't forget about next Thursday when the Savvy Six are coming on, so we can talk about our business mastermind and how we've supported each other. We have a great story to tell. I love these women. They have meant everything to me during the shutdown and COVID. And I would not be here with you on Facebook every day if it was not for them who encouraged me. That's it. That's absolutely it. Other than that, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, go out and, you got it, spread love like butter. Bye, everybody. I won't be here tomorrow, but I will be back on Thursday with Ariane. Bye.